Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
Hi there, I'm Ralph behind the camera.
And it's Tomatoes Galore here at Cavalcade of Food. And
in the middle of winter.
In the middle of winter.
Hopefully the end of winter.
Yes, exactly. And why we've got all these tomatoes actually. Ralph stopped by one of the fruit and vegetable markets here in the neighborhood, and there was a whole bag of them. All of these for 99 cents.
I couldn't pass it up.
What? So, we're like, okay, now there's a reason that 10 pounds of tomatoes were 99 cents, and that's because these things are ripe. So we like, okay, we got to use these up. Could make tomato sauce. I know, Ralph, you were saying you really wanted to make some tomato sandwiches.
Yeah, well, there'll be plenty left over, I'm sure, for my tomato sandwiches.
There will be. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use maybe 10 or so of these tomatoes.
And what are we going to make?
We're going to make a tomato and spinach casserole.
Yum.
How's that? So what I'm doing is, look at this, Ralph. I'm just taking a little paring knife here, and I'm putting an X.
It's called scoring.
Yep, just at the base, okay? At the bud end of the tomato, not the stem end. Then I got some water boiling, and what I'm going to do is we're going to quickly...
So you score it so that the skin comes off.
Right.
Oh.
We're going to quickly blanch these by dropping them in this very hot water. Not for long.
But you are in that hot water.
Yeah, blanch.
So blanching is just
blanching is just it is a quick boil. And let me bring this up a little bit. And what this will do is this will kind of help loosen the skin of these tomatoes so that it'll make it easier to peel. So we're going to leave them in there for a couple of minutes. And then what I'm going to do is I got a bowl here with ice cubes in it.
Okay.
And I'm going to put some water in here. And what we'll do is we're going to transfer the tomatoes from the boiling water to the ice water, okay? Which will sort of stop the cooking process, and it'll also, of course, cool them off enough so that we can peel the skins.
So that you can handle them.
Okay?
These are beautiful tomatoes. I mean, this is really my first look at them, and I thought that they might be, overly ripe to the point of rotten, but they're really beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, there were a couple bad tomatoes. I only like 2. The rest of them, like I said, they're ripe, but they're still very,
wow. That's a great
very
deal.
Beautiful.
So many will be good for my tomato sandwiches down the road.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
You see what's happened? Can you see how the skin is split there?
Yeah, and it's breaking up more and more, right?
Right.
I mean, the scoring that you did is
even
helping.
look at this tomato. The skin's almost coming off already. So it only took like 2 minutes in this water. Again, we're transferring it to the ice water, but as soon as you see the skin start to split like that, there's another, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but as soon as that starts happening...
That's when you know they're ready?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the scoring on the bottom just sort of helps give it a little head start.
And it's the opposite end of where the stem would be.
Yes, it's referred to often as the blossom end, because that's how a tomato starts, as a blossom. Same with most other things, cucumbers and squash, like that. So I'm going to get these out. We're going to let them cool off for a minute. I'm going to recover from this tomato facial I've been getting. And then what we'll do is we'll start peeling. Okay? Be right back. All right, I've taken the tomatoes out of the water bath.
The ice bath.
The ice bath, yes.
That's called shocking them.
Shocking. We shock these tomatoes.
They ain't seen nothing yet.
So, but you see, look at Ralph, the skin, look how easy it is to take that skin off. You don't even really have to even scrape it with your knife.
So that whole process was just to get the skin off, which is
because
important because it's tough?
The skin, yeah, this is actually kind of a variety of different tomatoes. There's some Roma tomatoes or plum tomatoes, and then there's some other kinds. And
they probably went through their produce section and saw anything that was getting close to overly ripe and put it in the 99-cent bag.
And this time of year, most of the tomatoes are grown in could be grown in South America or Mexico or in a hothouse. And anyways, the skin is thick. And the skin can, of course, be a bit tough.
Harder to digest.
And so basically, and it can be bitter, tomato skin. So you know what? We're just taking the skin off. And we're not going to worry about what the skin is like here.
How easily it's coming off. I know my mom used to make salsa, like, I think she did that where she got the skin off, where she would bottle the salsa, but I was too busy to pay attention. But look how nice it looks when you get the skin off and they stay whole like that.
So I'm going to finish getting the skin off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the tomatoes up, and we're going to try to get some of the liquid out of them. There's a lot of water in tomatoes, as we know. But
yeah, I remember one time we made a tomato pie, but I think it was before we started filming your cooking, and it was kind of watery.
Yes, it was. Now here's a skin that needs a little coaxing. Okay, so this skin hasn't quite
didn't heat as long,
but again, just to scrape with a knife and look how it comes off. So no worries. Anyways, we'll get these tomatoes skinned up, and get on with putting our casserole together. Okay, so our tomatoes are peeled, and
has that ice bath cooled them down a lot?
Yes, it has. I mean, they're just warm. What I'm going to do is I'm slicing them kind of on the thick side. Isn't that pretty? Almost, it's kind of
they're like
beautiful, isn't
fillets.
it?
They're like star-shaped almost, or blossomy, like you said.
And so I'm going to put them there, so if there's any kind of excess liquid, it can kind of drain through. Cut them thick, so at least a ½ inch thick, these slices. Okay, that's what we're going to do for our casserole.
Wow, they're cutting nice. They're not falling apart too much, are they?
No, because we didn't cook them but like 2 minutes in the boiling water.
So they're going to cook more.
So
when
they'll
they're
be
in the
substantial. And then what I'm going to do is, the top parts, I'm just kind of cutting around the top where the stem was, and we'll just keep the other chunks. So we're cutting them, again, thick, and I'm letting some of this water squeeze out as I cut it.
Oh, I see.
See?
So that you're kind of just getting the meat of the tomato.
That's what we want.
And
then we're putting it in this colander.
You're going to do, if I'm not mistaken, kind of like layers of tomatoes in this casserole?
Yeah, we're going to layer the tomatoes and spinach with cheese.
Okay, great.
Okay, and
some breadcrumbs
breadcrumbs on top. We're going to put in some nice herbs. It's going to be a very healthy vegetarian
use of tomatoes.
Yep.
So how many tomatoes did we say we started with?
Let's see.
Probably about 10? 8 to 10?
About 10, 11.
Great.
Okay.
So if you ever find yourself in the summertime with tons of tomatoes,
yes.
Here's a great recipe.
And of course, those wonderful tomatoes that we get in the summer, which are homegrown, and we get them from our neighbor John, and they're just wonderful. So
we like that whole farm. What do they call it? Farm to table philosophy.
Yeah.
This time it's a little.
But we're doing okay with these.
Yeah.
And again,
Argentina to table. Wherever.
So I'm just going to keep on slicing here until we get through them all.
Beautiful. All right, we'll be right back. By the way, we're soul cooking with the Roy Merriweather Trio, and our tomato spinach casserole is coming along nicely.
We are soul cooking. So we've got all of our ingredients. So here's what we've got. Here's our tomatoes, sliced,
skinned,
peeled,
whatever.
Peeled. They're drained a little bit. I've got just some nice baby leaf spinach here. Okay. I've got some sharp cheddar cheese, mozzarella cheese.
That's good mountain cheese.
And now, use the herbs that you like. This is like herbs de Provence.
Which is a blend.
Which is a blend of different kind of herbs. I've got some dried chives
Ever
as
since
well.
we went to France and got all fancy.
That's right, in French. I don't have any onions. If you did and you liked onions, they would be great in here.
Basil would be great.
Basil would be great.
Once again,
basil,
summertime.
If you had it. Again, we're
doing
in the
this
middle
in
of
winter. End of winter.
Yeah, let's hope. So I got some ground pepper here. I've got some seasonings, seasoned salt, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and these are panko breadcrumbs, which we're going to put on the top I know we've used panko breadcrumbs before and other things. You can see they're a real coarse kind of texture. They give a nice crunch. All right, so we're going to start with our tomatoes, and we're going to put.
So you kind of layer the.
Yeah, I think we should.
What size of a?
We should get. This is a 9x13. I've greased it.
Okay.
We should be able to get about 2 layers here, I think, of our tomatoes. I'm going to put our first layer in here.
So it's almost like a tomato lasagna.
Kind of, yeah. If you're thinking we're using the tomatoes,
and like you said, very healthy because it's all mostly vegetables.
I'm gonna wash my hands here now. Okay, so we're gonna do that now. The tomatoes. Now we've got to season them. So let's put in a little seasoned salt. We're gonna put in some nice cracked pepper, and we're going to put in some nice of our herb blend here. Going to really season this up nice, okay? And I'm going to give a little bit of drizzle, olive oil,
always good,
and a little balsamic, okay? Then
try to get it in the.
Then let's take our cheddar cheese.
Ooh, yes.
Okay. And this is sharp cheddar. We'll put some cheese in here. And okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take our spinach and we're going to put just a thin layer.
So just straight out of the bag, just right on there.
Yeah.
So
and there's water
in the vegetables,
in the tomatoes. So as it bakes, the water from the tomatoes will help kind of wilt this spinach down. Okay, you with me?
I'm with you.
Okay, and I'm going to put just a little mozzarella.
But you were saying
on top of the spinach.
The spinach. See, there's a hole there for spinach.
Oh, is there?
Because spinach, like you said, wilts down, and I know I love spinach. And the times that I've cooked it in a pan on the stove, you think you have a lot, and all of a sudden it goes down to almost nothing.
Yeah, it does.
So be generous with the spinach.
Yeah, any kind of greens, I like that. All right, so we're going to put now the rest of our tomatoes here over the top of the spinach.
Look how great that looks.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah, it's the colors of the Italian flag and the Mexican flag. A lot of green, white, and red kind of combinations. I love the.
Okay, now I've got the only thing about handling these tomatoes is
requires a lot of hand washing.
Yeah, because they're very wet, and I don't want to get everything else wet. So now we've got, again, we're going to do our seasoning with our tomatoes, a little seasoned salt.
So the tomatoes
you could just use regular salt if you wanted to, if you didn't have this. But we were talking earlier, and Ralph made a good point. Seasoned salt has celery seed in it, and celery seed and tomatoes really is a great combination.
Very, very fresh tasting, very green.
Let's put on a little bit more.
Cheddar.
We'll use up the rest of our. A little better with cheddar, okay?
So the idea is that the tomato is the base, then the seasoning, and then the cheese. Or did I miss? Is it? And then the spinach.
Right. So here's our fresh herbs, or dried herbs rather. I'm going to put a little pepper. Let me actually do it like this.
Yeah, sprinkle it in so.
Okay.
So we get a nice blend.
Okay, then we're going to take.
More drizzle?
A little. I'm going to put just a little olive oil. A little balsamic, which, balsamic and tomatoes are great partners. It gives a nice little tang. And then...
Now comes the...
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, though, is I want to put a little mozzarella here.
Mixed with the...
Be creative.
Because the cheddar was running low, so...
And this will help the spinach sort of stick to... the tomatoes. Okay, so here we go.
Well, if I had a flag, it would be red, white, green, and orange because of all that cheddar in there, too.
Aren't you glad we're making this?
Yeah.
We always do that joke every time.
Lately,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks great. Okay,
so now we're going to put the, I see. Okay, we got a little spinach hole here. All right.
Yeah, make with the spinach.
Now, let's use the rest of our mozzarella.
on the top.
That will bake over the spinach.
And we said, we mentioned that mozzarella is good melting cheese. That's why it's often used on pizzas, because
it's a creamy, very kind of milky cheese,
which complements the spices that you might use with some Italian cooking.
Now, for a little bit of the crunch, we're going to take our little pancos here, and let's just sprinkle that over the top.
So panko is generally not seasoned, but it's just a coarser.
I've seen it. You can buy it seasoned now.
But we didn't season this because we put a lot of seasonings in the casserole itself.
It's it's a Japanese style breadcrumbs, and it's very easy to find everywhere. But like I said, it is heartier. It's not as fine. It's coarser. It has a better crunch. Then we're gonna top
with the olive oil.
The olive oil. Okay.
It's a drizzle party.
Give it a little drizzle. There we are, folks. Here we go.
It's ready to go in the oven. The oven's at what now?
At 350. We're going to give it about 25-30 minutes. So we've had it in for about a half hour, 30 minutes, Ralph, and we are going to take it out. And we are going to see it bubbling away there.
Yes. Does the cheese look like it's melted?
Oh yeah.
Properly?
And look at how the breadcrumbs have
gotten a little brown.
Mm-hmm. And remember, we didn't put any kind of liquid in here. So what has happened is the tomatoes have done their thing. You can see how the spinach is wilted down. We're going to let this cool and set up for probably a good at least 10 minutes. Let it kind of come together, and then we'll come back and we'll cut into it.
Sounds good. We cannot wait.
Yeah.
We've moved into the music of the Young Hole Trio that Kevin found recently for $1 or less, and we're gonna whack into this casserole here.
So you know what? I decided I'm gonna cut this with like a slotted spatula, so that
the liquid will fall through.
Exactly. And you know what else I thought would be good too?
Eggplant.
Well, that's a great idea, but I thought, you know what would be nice to serve this on? If you had some really crusty bread.
Like European, French, or Italian style.
Mm-hmm. So let me move this to the, look at that. See, because I want to leave the excess liquid in the pan.
Mm-hmm. Great idea.
But here you go. Beautiful tomatoes, the cheese, the lovely wilted spinach, and the crunchy breadcrumbs on the top. So there it is, folks. Tomato spinach casserole. Great way to use bargain basement tomatoes when you find them on sale.
You'll thank us in the summertime.
Absolutely. Anyways, we had a great time putting all this together. Hope you had a great time being with us.
We may eat to forget, but we never forget to eat.
Amen,
on Cavalcade of Food.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.